Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera. Hope you're doing amazing and please stay safe at home. Okay, so today, before we look onto the new subtopic, previously you have already looked onto the infectious and non-infectious disease. What are the differences between these two? And then the method of transmission for infectious disease, whether it's a waterborne, whether it's airborne or it's spread by contact or it's spread by vector, which is the organism that can carry the pathogen. So before we look onto this new subtopic, please remember back what does it mean by the term pathogen. Ingat lagi tak apa maksud pathogen? Okay, so for those who forgot, pathogen is basically anything that can cause disease. Any organism that can cause disease. Contohnya macam microorganism like virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa. These microorganisms can cause disease. So it classified as pathogen. Or things like toxin. Toxin pun boleh menyebabkan penyakit. Jadi kita panggil dia sebagai pathogen. Okay, so this new subtopic body defense, basically we will learn what happened when this pathogen managed to invade our system. Let's start with the question. Do you know that our body has a strategy to defend itself when pathogens invade the system? Do you ever thought of what actually happened when our body being invaded by this pathogen? Apa yang berlaku kalau virus ke bakteria ke berjaya masuk ke dalam badan manusia? Okay, we will look onto that. Defense mechanism. Our body has its own defense mechanism, sistem pertahanannya yang tersendiri to protect ourselves from this pathogen. So, the first point, there are 3 line of defense mechanism in human. Ada 3 barisan pertahanan. It's like a war, right? Macam perang. Sebab ada pertahanan pertama, pertahanan kedua, something like that. Okay, so the first line of defense, it involves the skin and mucous membrane. Barisan pertahanan yang pertama yang paling hadapan sekali ataupun dekat badan manusia, barisan yang luar sekali adalah skin as well as mucous membrane. Okay, if these lines of defense did not manage to stop the pathogen from entering our system, we will have our second line of defense. Second line of defense ni, it involve a process called phagocytosis. This phagocytosis carried out by certain type of white blood cell. We will look more onto that later. Okay, so and then the last one, the third line of defense, it involve body immune system like antibody. Okay, ingat tau, first line apa, second line apa, and then third line apa. Okay, let's look onto the first line of defense. The first line of defense, it involves skin and mucous membrane. First point, human skin is made up of a tough layer and difficult to be penetrated by microorganism. Human skin is actually quite strong and microorganism cannot penetrate this organ unless, second point, microorganism can only get into body if there is a wound or if the skin is injured. Unless our skin ada luka, ada kecederaan, this is where the microorganism can actually enter. Okay, if not, it's actually very hard to be penetrated. Microorganism takkan senang-senang masuk. Unless kalau ada luka, ada any kecederaan ke, baru this akan act as entering point lah untuk microorganism. Dia akan boleh masuk bila ada luka. Okay, the third point, sweat and sebum secreted by skin contain chemicals that can kill organism. Another special thing about our skin, they actually secrete sweat and sebum, and these two actually contain a type of chemical like enzyme that can actually help kill the microorganism daripada masuk ke dalam sistem. Okay, and then apart from that, the second one is mucous membrane. Mucous membrane ni basically membrane mucous ataupun bahasa mudahnya lah. Kita panggil macam hingus kamu tu. Hingus tu adalah sejenis mucus. So, the first point, mucous membrane is the membrane that lines the digestive tract and respiratory tract. Mucus ni macam bendaleh tau. So, it's actually line the digestive tract and respiratory tract. Respiratory tract ni, as you all know, and I'm pretty much sure you are aware of, this current virus COVID-19 are actually spread by respiratory droplet. If you inhale, kalau kamu udara yang kamu sedut tu mengandungi virus tu, it can actually, that is how the virus invade your system, through respiratory tract. Another one is digestive tract, meaning that if you eat something that is being contaminated by this microorganism, okay, makanan yang dah tercemar dengan microorganism, it also actually an entering point for pathogen lah untuk masuk kan. Okay, so untuk respiratory tract, microorganism that enter the respiratory tract are filtered by nasal hair, ataupun bahasa mudahnya dipanggil bulu hidung lah, and trapped by mucous lining in the nasal cavity. In the nasal cavity, dekat rongga hidung kamu. So thanks to your bulu hidung as well as your hingus, it's actually help you from being infected by pathogen. Okay, sebab apa? Nasal hair, they help tapis udara yang kamu sedut, and mucous lining, or bahasa mudahnya hingus dalam hidung kamu tu actually help to trap the pathogen from entering your system. Dia akan perangkap microorganism tersebut. For digestive tract, usually our digestive tract ada mucous membrane, mucous lining dekat esophagus, dekat stomach. Stomach ada acid juga. Acid tu pun can help kill the microorganism, our intestine and so on. So mucus ni help to trap the microorganism. Dia tak boleh pergi mana-mana kalau dia dah terperangkap dalam mucus kamu. The third point, airwax ataupun tahi telinga, okay, tears and vaginal secretions can also function as an antiseptic that can kill microorganism. This tree pun also has the ability to kill microorganism, and it falls onto the first line of defense, barisan pertahanan yang pertama sekali. Okay, so let's look on to the second line of defense. If the first line of defense did not manage to stop the virus from entering your system, the pathogen from entering your system, we will have the second line of defense. Second line of defense ni, it involve a process called phagocytosis. Phagocytosis is basically a process where white blood cell, they engulf and digest the pathogen by using the enzyme in the cell. If you look onto this video, you can see a type of white blood cell. Here is a white blood cell, and then here is the pathogen. Okay, I think it's a type of bacteria. Okay, so phagocytosis ni basically bahasa mudahnya adalah white blood cell tu dia makan microorganism tersebut. Okay, it engulf and then it digests the bacteria. You see? The bacteria struggle because the enzyme is being injected into it, and then eventually dia akan mati lah. Okay, itu proses phagocytosis. So cool, right? Okay, let's move on to the third line of defense. The third line of defense ni, it involves body immune system. Immunity is basically the ability of body system to resist pathogen before it infect our system. Okay, dia akan stop pathogen daripada menjangkiti badan manusia. So, untuk third line of defense ni, yang paling penting kamu kena ingat, it involves the production of antibodies. Kalau involve antibodies sahaja, dia falls onto the third line of defense, barisan pertahanan yang ketiga. Okay, when pathogens enter the body. Alright, so what is antibody? Kita selalu dengarkan antibody. So what actually antibody is? Antibody is a type of protein that produced by white blood cell. Sel darah putih kita ada ability untuk menghasilkan sejenis protein yang dipanggil sebagai antibody, and this antibody has the ability untuk kills the microorganism, ataupun dia has the ability untuk panggil other white blood cell untuk bunuh that organism. Okay, antibody ni ada banyak jenis juga sebenarnya. Okay. Antibody is a protein produced by white blood cell into the bloodstream in response to antigen. In response to antigen, antigen ni is basically a foreign substance that has the ability to induce the production of antibody. Kalau pathogen adalah apa-apa sahaja yang boleh menyebabkan penyakit, antigen pula adalah apa-apa sahaja yang boleh induce ataupun merangsang penghasilan antibody dalam badan manusia. Sebab antibody ni yang ada ability untuk bunuh pathogen. Okay, apa-apa sahaja yang boleh induce production of antibody, kita panggil sebagai antigen. Antigen ni sebenarnya adalah a type of substance yang present dekat surface of the pathogens. Usually dia ada different shape ataupun kita panggil sebagai epitope here, kalau dekat video here. Epitope A, epitope B, epitope C. Bahasa mudahnya maksudnya dia ada different shape. Dia ada shape yang berbeza. Sebenarnya in real life dia tak adalah segitiga, dia tak adalah segi empat. Dia bentuk dia lain kan. Tapi this one is just a contoh. So, this antigen ni dia present on the surface of a pathogen. If dekat antibody pula, dia ada macam receptor dia. Kalau antibody ni can recognize, it can fit and it recognize the antigen on the surface, dia akan boleh bunuh that pathogen. Ataupun dia akan boleh induce other white blood cell untuk bunuh that pathogens. Macam kamu tengok ni, epitope B dengan epitope C has different shape, right? So, antibody ni takkan kacau lah. Dia takkan boleh lah bunuh this pathogen. Tapi this one, dia boleh bunuh sebab apa? It fit. This antibody, dia boleh recognize the antigen. Okay? So, please ask me question if you still need more information about antigen, or please look onto Google, because I won't explain too much on that, because in your syllabus you just have to know antibody ni apa is a type of protein produced by white blood cell. Antigen ni, in response to antigen. Antigen ni apa is basically foreign substance. It usually a surface protein. Dia ada dekat bahagian surface pathogens, and it can be recognized by antibody. Dia akan induce production of antibody. Example of antigens are pathogens, toxin molecules, and blood cell from other blood groups. If you want to know more about antigen of blood cell from other blood group ni, kenapa manusia tak boleh, if you are a blood O type, if your blood type is O, you cannot receive from other blood donor macam A, B, C. Kenapa? It involve this lah, antigen ni. Tapi I won't explain more on that because it's not in your syllabus, but you can ask me. Okay, so let's look onto immunization. Immunization is basically an effort to stimulate body defense against infection in human by injecting vaccine. We try to stimulate body defense by injecting vaccine. Vaksin ni apa? Vaksin ni basically apa-apa sahaja yang mengandungi antigen from a weakened or dead virus or bacteria. Vaksin ni usually bakteria atau virus yang sudah dilemahkan ataupun dah mati. Bila this virus yang dah dilemahkan, we inject masuk dalam badan manusia, it actually has the ability untuk stimulate our immune response in our body. Okay? So, let's just stop here first, guys. So, make sure you just understand first what is body defense in terms of those three lines of defense mechanism. The first line involve apa? Apa yang berlaku dekat skin, apa yang berlaku dekat mucous membrane. And then the second line involve apa? What does it mean by phagocytosis? And then the third line of defense, it involve apa? What does it mean by antibody? And what does it mean by antigen? Kita stop dulu dekat situ.